Hey everyone, welcome to Ajay and Nathan Discuss Movies, a show in which we discuss movies both old and new. Today we have a new movie that just dropped in theaters this past Thursday night. And what is that title? What is that movie title, Nathan? And who directed it?
It is Black Bag, directed by Steven Soderbergh, starring Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender.
As well as Regé-Jean Page and a few others.
And a few others. It's actually quite an ensemble cast.
And what is this movie about, Nathan?
Yes, Black Phone. No, Black Bag. Sorry, too many movies with the same title. Black Bag stars Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett as a married couple that works for British intelligence agency, and it follows, them as just a normal, loving couple until Michael Fassbender learns that there is a rat within the agency, a traitor that has stolen sensitive intelligence, and he must go through a list of suspects, one of which is his own wife. And so now he is torn between his loyalty to his job and his loyalty to his marriage, and that is the setup of Black Bag.
And how did you feel about this movie, Nathan?
I really, really liked this movie. I just think it's incredibly solid, an incredibly tight and efficient 90-minute spy thriller. It's so rare to see a movie that has absolutely no fat, no filler in it. It is all thrill, all kill for 90 minutes. It's just a very well-paced, well-directed movie with some terrific performances, not just from Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett, who are, of course, amazing, but it's also a really kind of good ensemble cast. I pulled up the letterbox so I could read off the names of the other people. It was who was it? Regé-Jean Page, Naomie Harris, Pierce Brosnan, Tom Burke, just a really kind of stacked ensemble for this movie that I was not expecting. So yeah, Black Bag's real damn good.
You mentioned pacing.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the positives. I mean, that's one of the many positives in this film.
Yeah.
Is the pacing is that it's an hour and 34-minute film, and at no point does it really settle. At no point does it feel like it's dragging. The humor was really well placed in this film. I really enjoyed this film. I really like the performances as well, but I also really enjoyed the fact that there were moments where like you kind of felt for the characters in a way, and and they really built up on the relationship and the dynamic between not only Michael Fassbender's character with Cate Blanchett's character, but also Michael Fassbender's character with the entire agency in general. And you see the relationship sputter ever since that dinner conversation where one of the Irish drunks gets his hand like stabbed with a steak knife by his mistress or by his girlfriend, who also works at the agency. So yeah, it was a very fun movie. I enjoyed it a lot. We often talk about movies that have a lot of style but no substance. I think that this movie is quite the opposite.
No,
where there's a lot of substance.
Yeah.
I don't know that much about the style though.
Okay.
I think there are times where the film kind of looks a little dull, where the visuals don't really pop out as much as they should. And there were, because that's one of the things that's also very important in terms of like filmmaking. It's just like, making sure that like the scenes like stand like that it's like eye popping, and that's like eye candy essentially, and while the screenplay I'm sure must have been amazing, and while the story was really great, watching it unfold on screen, for me personally, I felt as if there was nothing that really like hooked me in terms of like
nothing visually.
Yes.
I can understand that. It's definitely, it's not the most eye-popping visually, because it's just a very, I guess for lack of a better term, straightforward spy mystery. And so it's really just bouncing between like their home and their agency, which is just kind of like a clinically lit office building. It's all just very like, looks like a doctor's office, kind of the way those lights just kind of white everything out, just looks, but I think for the movie that works, and I noticed in a lot of scenes this kind of like warm lighting, especially when you're in the home of Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett. There's these really like warm hues coming off the lights and the candles. It makes the home feel so very warm, which is in contrast to the cold kind of wet work they're doing behind the scenes.
The interiors definitely kind of made it look like very much like a Woody Allen-y movie, like in terms of like, you know, like Manhattan Murder Mystery or something of that nature, in terms of just like the interiors, I'm saying, not like in terms of how it's shot outside, but even the well-placed humor, it kind of reminded me of that.
What do you mean you snuck into his apartment? Are you nuts?
Stop being such a funny dad.
What has gotten into you lately? For crying out loud, save a little craziness for menopause.
You know, we mentioned before we caught the cameras rolling is that, like, you know how like Shyamalan's Unbreakable was like a superhero movie, but not really a superhero movie?
Yeah.
This is Soderbergh's James Bond movie, but not really a James Bond movie.
Yeah, it feels like a deconstruction of that kind of genre, or kind of like a new angle to take it, because we both cited one of the most important parts about the movie is the relationships between Michael Fassbender, Cate Blanchett, but also between their little circle of friends who all work at the intelligence agency. And I think that's what the movie's kind of angle is. It's a movie about, you know, these relationships, but within a very stressful government system. Like I think one of them, the younger woman, talks about just like it's hard to like find a person working in this field because everyone you work with is kind of a psycho, but then everyone on the outside like would never understand this line of work, and so you just kind of take what you can get and make the most out of it. And all the relationships are, everyone has such great chemistry, but there's also this underlying tension in like each one of them, because I know Naomie not Naomi Ackie. I'm thinking of Mickey 17.
Smith.
Naomi.
Not Naomi Scott. Naomi Smith.
Naomie Harris.
Naomie Harris.
Too many people with similar names. Naomie Harris is their psychiatrist, like within the agency, and she's in relationships with her own patients. And then Tom Burke is kind of a drunken idiot, and he's kind of floating around to anyone he can find. And then Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender, they have the best marriage or relationship out of anyone they know, but they're also still like kind of like heartless, like secret agents.
They're also kind of untrustworthy.
Yeah.
Because when the movie stub was planted inside Cate Blanchett's room in her trash, that really prompted Michael Fassbender to really change his overall line of questioning, but more importantly, his overall view on his relationship with his wife. And I think that really played a role into it. We should get into spoilers because we don't really have much to say about this movie. You should definitely go watch it if you haven't already. But it's a very straightforward, streamlined movie where there's not really that many questions that you leave with.
Yeah, no, it wraps everything up very, very nicely. It does not leave anything hanging. Again, it is a tight 90 minutes, and so it will set up everything, and then it will finish everything off.
Yeah, so if you want to see the spoilers for this highbrow version of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, right here. All right, so we get into the point in the movie where they're starting to do their line of questioning in terms of who ratted out someone at the agency.
Yeah. It seems to be this kind of big conspiracy where someone has stolen this sensitive information that can cause like a nuclear meltdown, and so they're trying to find that. And so yeah, Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender kind of realize that they themselves have been played. Their own like trust in their marriage has been used against them, and they've been kind of pitted against each other. And I really liked that scene when they're at home and they kind of realize together that it's like, oh, our feelings for each other were used against us by this group of people that we invited to dinner. And so they team up to just kind of ruin everyone else's day, which I loved because it was smart and also like really kind of petty. Like when they call everyone they know in for the polygraph test, and he's asking these incredibly personal questions, like Naomie Harris is religious, and he's like, true or false, there is a God. And she's just like, true. And he asks again, he's like, true or false? There's the God. They're just being kind of like,
loosen up your sphincter.
yeah. It's like, did you read how to trick polygraph tests? Like, cover to cover, say yes or no. It just the cold clinical aspect adds to the intensity and also adds kind of to the light kind of humor of it as well.
I like the muted out explosion of the car.
Yeah, no, that looked great. And it sounded great. No, it was a really good scene.
I'm sure it was practical, right? Do you think that was a practical?
Oh, that was definitely a practical
Soderbergh was like, we're going to blow up a car.
Yeah. Remember when people just did that in movies? They blew up cars?
He has his lit cigarette, like acting like Hitchcock. We're going to blow up a car tonight.
Good for him. Good for him. Yeah, no, I feel like in the hands of a lesser director, this movie would not work.
Yeah.
But because it's in Steven Soderbergh's hands and the man just
I mean, he
works.
released a movie like 2 months ago.
Yeah, Presence.
And we saw Red Letter Media drop a video. So.
Yeah, we're fans. But yeah, no, he's just an incredibly efficient director, and he knows how to elevate his material. I love the opening 5 minutes because it's a long take, and I loved the sound design of that scene because it's going from like kind of crowded streets into a cramped nightclub back out to the streets again. It's all just going in and out. It's just really cool and a really captivating way to open the movie.
Yeah, the framing was also really good as well. Like at moments where like sometimes like Michael Fassbender's character would be out of frame or not would be within the frame, but he would sort of be centered out of it. And the focus would be on Cate Blanchett's character, and it kind of reminded me of like several like Hitchcock movies where that's sort of like where Hitchcock would really do that as well in terms of just like focusing more on like the characters and their dynamics and their development. So overall, we enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, it was really, really good, really damn good. Tight 90. It's again, I can't stress enough, directors, if you can't get your point across in 90 minutes. Don't make the movie, bro. Don't do it. If you can't get it done in 90 minutes, what are you doing?
This is a film that you should definitely recommend to your grandpa or grandma. This is. I was watching. I was like, this is definitely like this would hit within the senior citizen nursing home community.
It
11 a.m. matinee showing. I was like, oh my god, they would love this movie.
They're showing that Black Bag movie. I can't wait to watch.
Black Phone. It's
that Black Phone.
It's actually
movie.
Black Bag, but whatever.
Black what? Let me turn on my hearing aids. I can't hear. Why? Black who? Yeah. Black what?
I'm checked
Not
out.
in my nursing home. But I was gonna say it feels like a movie from like the 70s.
Yeah.
Even like I love the soundtrack too because it's like weird and like hints of like kind of electronic, but then like kind of like jazzy.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Very 12 Angry Men-y.
Sure.
In terms of like the confrontation at the dinner table.
What's the matter with you guys? You're letting them slip through our fingers.
Slip through our fingers? Are you his executioner?
Yeah, no, that's something I also really like is that most of the intense moments are just conversations. That first dinner scene, the entire movie could have taken place right there.
Yeah.
And I would have been so down with it watching their back and forth.
Because the dynamic and like the off-colored humor and the way that it's all like fast-paced, it's very exhilarating. I was like really enthralled by it.
Yeah, no.
Which is not something that you would think at a movie because like when you look at a movie, it's like the visuals and all that. And while I did criticize the lack of visuals and all that, the focus for a movie is never really like the dialogue. So when I saw this dinner scene play out, I was like, oh, this is actually quite neat and quite fun.
Yeah, no, it's incredibly tight dialogue, very efficient dialogue, and it is shot in a way to ensure that your interest is kept throughout the conversation and that there is a rising tension as the emotions get more like potent within the conversation. And that just when Tom Burke gets stabbed in the hand because he's cheating on his girlfriend, and he has like no reaction to getting stabbed in the hand. He's just like, "You would do this, would you? I date the craziest women." And they're just like, "Don't move your hand." He's like, "This is whatever, guys. I don't even want to be here anymore."
Yeah. You know what the production budget for this movie was?
What was it?
Take a guess.
Man, I'm gonna say 50 million.
Yeah, it's 50 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Exactly?
Yeah.
That was just I pulled that out of my ass. Really, 50 million?
Yes, I was surprised with that number. I thought it would be lower.
I mean, you have a big cast. You're shooting on a bunch of locations. I imagine a guy like Soderbergh wants to do everything as practically as humanly possible. Honestly, at this point, like, movie budgets are so ballooned,
Astronomically high.
so ballooned that 50 million is still like, that's mid-budget for like whatever Netflix just produced. That's like $320 million.
Did you watch that movie? What's that movie title? Electric State?
Electric State? No, I didn't. I'm not going to.
Yeah, I'm not either.
But like, that's 320 million, and this and then 50 million sounds so much more quaint compared to that. And look at what he can do with 90 minutes and 50 million. It's one of the best movies to come out so far.
One of the scenes that I really stuck with me even after I left the theater was the gun scene, not the final gun scene, but when they're out on the lake.
Yes. Oh my God.
That entire portion of it was very exhilarating, where he's getting more intel in terms of who's behind this, you know, who to trust, who to blame, who to go after, and he sort of has a sneaking suspicion that Regé-Jean Page's character is behind it. So he has the gun with him, fully locked and loaded, but he doesn't shoot it, but it's there. And it lingers, even when it's not on screen.
I know you said that some of the visuals were, there weren't much to ride home about, but I do like how that boat ride with them was framed, as if the camera were like kind of like watching them from within the water. I really liked that shot. There were just a couple shots like it on that lake that looked really nice. That looked like this is the place where Michael Fassbender comes to like really sort everything out. It is calm, it is peaceful. It's probably the only peace this guy ever gets. This is his form of relaxation. I thought it was a interesting little character thing when he's with Regé-Jean Page and they're fishing. He catches the fish and throws it back. I don't know exactly. I can't put into words what that says about his character, but there was something interesting about that, as if this little lake that he fishes on is this strange, like, parallel microcosm to the spy world he lives in. Like, he's catching these fish, but then he's throwing them back, and he's going to send the hook out again to maybe catch a bigger one. Just very tiny little details like that I appreciate.
There was also that fishing scene in which, like, he's trying to get a fish, and he gets, like, some, like, tension with it when when the fish is in the water, but he comes out with no fish and just the worm.
Yes, and it's just constantly flashing to, like, all the people he needs to interrogate. It's like, it's a very simple little choice to be just like, this is where he comes to think, but it adds so much. It does so much with, in lesser hands would be so little, but again, this movie rides or dies with Steven Soderbergh, and he knows what he's doing. It's so nice to watch a director that gets it, that knows what he's doing.
Yeah, there's power in knowing that it's subtle.
Yeah, exactly. Less is more.
Yeah. I just say that there was a lack of visuals because I know Soderbergh is very, like, hands-on with his... And he really focuses and values on, like, creative control and having the most control.
Yeah.
Obviously, it makes sense. But sometimes I think that maybe giving a cinematographer some leeway... Because he does do the cinematography.
Oh.
Like, he's a guy that does his cinematography, does the visual effects, is, like, hands-on with every portion of it. And I think sort of giving some power to a cinematographer to really, like, spruce things up may add a little bit. I don't know in terms of this movie, but just in general, I think it could really do wonders.
That's understandable.
Yeah. So, parting thoughts, final thoughts?
Parting thoughts? Yeah, no, this is the kind of movie that would paired nice with like a glass of whiskey. You sit down, you light the fire, and you're like, I'm gonna watch Black Bag. It's kind of it's an intense spy thriller, but there's like kind of a warm, comforting vibe to it because it's just so tight and such a great watch with such fantastic performances and direction. It'll keep you hooked. It is, again, one of the best movies to come out so far in this year. So I highly recommend Black Bag.
Yeah, this would hit really well with the Peloton mom community.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Now.
A Peloton? Give it up for our first time ride.
All right, first ride. I'm a little nervous, but excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if any of you are Peloton moms out there, we support you in your efforts to become more independent and free thinking.
I've seen the viewer numbers. There's a big spike in Peloton moms.
Peloton moms.
They love us.
Yeah, you sit back with a glass of rosé. You just got your manicure done, your pedicure done. You're.
Oh my God! Look at that Michael Fassbender. He knows how to treat his wife. It's not like my piece of husband.
Yeah, and it's very subtle. I enjoyed it a lot. It was fun. I remember when I left the theater, there was a group of guys, a father and a son, I think.
Okay.
A group of guys.
Bro, we're gonna go see Black Bag. Bro, you like Soderbergh?
Yeah, Soderbergh.
This is the guy.
He made Sex Lies videotape. He's good.
Good guy. The
Good
girlfriend experience, bro. It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, dude. Unsane, great movie. Great movie. But when I was leaving the theater, he was like, yeah, I didn't get it. I was like, it's not that hard of a movie to understand.
It isn't. Even if like the mystery is like hard to keep track of. First off, it's not even the most convoluted like mystery or spy plot I've ever seen. And there's a literal like 10-minute dinner scene where they do the big mystery reveal.
Yeah, like it's like Scream.
It's like it lays everything out in a very clean manner where it's like, oh, there's something I wasn't privy to. Just clear things up for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not that hard to get. Someone steals documents.
Someone stole these documents.
Who did it?
Who took them? Pierce Brosnan's really mad.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're all so stupid.
Yeah, and then there's softcore in the movie.
What?
Bingo, that's your movie. Softcore. Just them in bed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just smooching her.
Yeah, softcore. It's softcore.
They kiss in hardcore too.
I know. We're getting too into the weeds of this.
We're getting to next week. We're gonna review.
Yeah, we are. We're gonna review some hardcore. We're gonna review Hardcore by Paul Schrader. How about that? All right. I think we've exercised the limits of this conversation.
Yeah, we have.
And we will be ending. So that is all for today. Mm-hmm. Guys, what did you think about this movie? Ladies, guys, non-binary people.
Peloton moms.
Peloton moms, how did you feel about this movie? Let us know in the comments below. And what movie do you want us to review next? Novocaine, Opus, Hardcore by Paul Schrader?
We've already decided it's going to be Novocaine. No matter what you tell us, we're not going to listen to you. We don't listen to our audience.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's probably going to be Novocaine.
Probably Novocaine. All right, so that's
or Southland Tales by Richard Kelly.
That's it for us, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.